Verse 15, the serpent poured water like a river out of his mouth after the woman to sweep her away for flood, but the earth came to help the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed the river that the dragon had poured from his mouth. Then the dragon became furious with the woman and went off to make war on the rest of her offspring, on those who keep the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus, and he stood on the sand of the sea. Okay, so you basically get this picture of like Satan trying to mess with God's people here on earth. Okay, flip to 13. Revelation 13 is about the time we live in now, the period between Christ's ascension and his return. Okay, this is where it starts to get kind of nuts. Okay, I'm not going to read this to you. You can read it on your own. Let me just explain to you what happens. This battle keeps going on between God's people and this dragon, and we're going to see this unholy trinity like come up. And so you have the dragon, and then we're going to see like two beasts come out of the earth. Okay, so look at chapter 13. Chapter 13 is the first beast. And then you'll also see on the next page the second beast. Okay, so you have the dragon, you have the first beast, and you have the second beast. The first beast is going to be, what did I say? Okay, yeah, the first beast is going to come from the sea. The second beast is going to come from the earth. So I called it sea beast and earth beast. And they're going to come up and they're going to mess with God's people. You'll see a lot of like representation here, symbolism here about them having horns and stuff. So a lot of power. The callback happens for this one in Daniel. Daniel wrote about 4 beasts that represent consecutive world powers over history. The empires of Babylon, Persia, Greece, and then Rome. So Rome would be in the people's minds. They would be thinking about, okay, like there's the dragon and there's a beast here and he's like persecuting God's people. The earth beast, the second one that comes out, that represents the political and social ideologies that have essentially become a religion to so many. And then, I learned that like this beast kind of like supports this beast. So you have like this unholy trinity is what you'll hear. You have the dragon, you have the sea beast, you have the earth beast. You don't have to read too much into it, okay? It's just showing that like, hey, you have the Holy Trinity, and then you have like evil forces working against God during this time. The period that we live in, you have God, the Holy Trinity, and then you have Satan and his demonic forces, his unholy trinity working to fight against it. Yes.
So these beasts aren't like literal?
So that's up for debate. Some people say literal, some people say not. So
you think not?
Up to interpretation. I don't know. I think probably I don't know. I'd probably say not. I would probably lean towards this, that it's like these ideologies that work on here. So this I just copy and pasted from that book that I showed you, the book. Yeah, I think that was a pretty strong argument. I think this one, same thing, right? It's like not like actual rulers, but it's symbolic of the empires, the world leaders and stuff that oppress God's people. Yeah. That's what I'd say. I don't know. It's up for debate. You want to add anything to that? Okay. All right. So anyways, that's what you get. You get this picture of God's people and the Holy Trinity and Satan fighting against them. That's what you see here. Now, look at this. This is what I want you to discuss in your new groups. After what we just said, okay? Okay, now we need to read this part. Go to chapter 14. Go to chapter 14. Now we see here, is that it? Hold on. Okay, sorry. Go back to 13:11. Go back to 13:11. And let's read this exactly, where it talks about this 666 thing. Think about what we just learned about like Holy Trinity, Unholy Trinity, God's people in the midst of this battle. Think about the symbolism of this. Think about the numbers 7 and 6, okay? We've been hammering this hard throughout the weeks that these numbers I like symbolic. Okay, so let's see what this says. Okay, verse 11. Then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. This is the earth beast. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. So like kind of a weird mix of like it's like kind of like powerful and looks like Jesus, but it speaks like Satan. It exercises all the authority of the first beast and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast whose mortal wound was healed. So there's some stuff that's going on there. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people, and by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. So there's basically a lot of deception going on here. You have us, earth people on earth being deceived by like what's going on. Well, maybe not us as Christians, but people who don't know Jesus. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. So there's some persecution there. See that? If people are not worshiping this beast, they're going to be persecuted, killed, and dead. So persecution for God's people. Verse 16, also it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. Okay, so now we're seeing that like, okay, no matter who you are, you're going to be marked by this if you have this number of this beast, okay? And this is going to allow you or not to do stuff in the world, to buy or sell stuff. Verse 18, this calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, keep reading, okay? Keep reading, because a lot of times you stop there, but look at this. Keep reading, okay? Keep reading. Then I looked, and behold, on Mount Zion stood the Lamb, and with him 144,000. The 144,000, that just means God's people, the saved Christians. Saved Christians that are living during the persecuted time, who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. Okay, so we just saw that 666 was written on people's heads and hands of those who like worship Satan and stuff. And now we have the Father's name written on the people who are God's people, on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven like the roar of many waters and like the sound of loud thunder. The voice I heard was like the sound of harpists playing the harps, and they were singing a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and before the elders. No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth, so God's people being saved. It is those who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins, meaning they're pure before God. It is those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes, Christians who follow Jesus. These have been redeemed from mankind as first fruits for God and the Lamb, and in their mouth no lie was found, for they are blameless. So they're pure before God. So, okay, let's stop there. Okay, this whole entire scene, remember, has been taking place between Jesus' first ascension and Jesus' return, and we're seeing like this beast and like there's marking, and we see the 144,000, those who are Christians and saved during that persecuted time. So with that knowledge, answer these questions in your group. What does it mean that it makes everyone receive a mark? Like, is that a physical mark or is that just symbolic? What does mark on right hand and forehead represent? You can look at Exodus 28:36. How does Revelation 14:1 speak to this? We just read that. What does it mean that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark? Given what we know about numbers, about the unholy trinity, what does 666 even mean? Okay, that's so much. Do your best. Do your best. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You got this. You got this. In your tables. I know.
Oh, that's rough.
Okay, let's walk through this. If you have something, let's just say this. What does it mean that everyone receives a mark? What does it mean that everyone receives a mark? Group 1, what do you guys think?
So wait, is that representative?
It's like when his non-believers get the 66 mark, and the believers get the solid marks. Everyone has a
Yeah. I think it means that either you're on this side or you're on this side. Everyone gets a mark. There's no in between. Either 7s or 6s, right? Good. Yeah, good. What does mark on right hand and forehead represent? Okay, group 2, what do you guys think?
Guys, so you guys want to? Okay, so I think there's just a point of symbolism here.
Okay, yeah.
We use a lot of right hand in the Bible and in society, just because like when it's on your right hand, I would say just means it's like what's in your heart.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, you're getting close to it.
It's like what's important to you.
Okay.
Like what side you're on. I think forehead. I think it could mean one like your belief. It also just shows that you cannot hide. It's literally on your face.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think you're getting to it. Did anybody read this 2836?
I did not.
Okay. You guys read it? Okay. How does it relate?
Oh shit! Wait.
Basically, during Aaron and Moses' time, the mark on Aaron's forehead was to show that he was accepted before God. And we were saying if it was the opposite and you have the mark associated, it might show that you're like accepted before the devil or Satan.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Stay with the first part that you were saying. Okay. Like people in Israel, the priests were supposed to have like something on their heads, and it means that like God's word is always like on your mind. So head means mind. You're always thinking about like God or not. And hand in the Bible, and I guess in the world, you're getting close to it. It symbolizes action, right? So Jesus sits on the right hand of God. It means that Jesus is the one who does God's action, his work. And so you have this picture of the mark on their foreheads and on their hands, meaning that like whoever is marked by Satan, all they think about is like Satan and the work of evil. All their mind is on evil and all their doings are evil. Whereas God's people, all their mind is holy and all their works are holy. So you have this compare and contrast. That's all this is, man. Compare and contrasting. Okay, good. Revelation 14:1 speaks to this because you see that like Satan does have this number, but the Bible defines that Father's people have numbers too. So whether you want to take that as symbolism or not, I would lean towards like symbolic, right? Because I don't have any numbers on my head. God's people. What does it mean that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark? Okay, you guys, that's hard. It's a hard one.
I have an interpretation.
Okay, yeah, interpret.
I kind of thought like buying or selling is like your ability to like function in the world.
Okay, yeah.
And so like I thought like okay, like maybe there will come a time where like the world is so corrupted that you can't really get anywhere unless you like give in to like sin or stuff like that. So for those who do not have that mark of the devil or like choose not to give into it, they may like in world standards they may not like be able to like achieve success or like function in the way that or like have as like good as a worldly life as like those who get into sin. Like.
Yeah. Good. You guys want to add anything to that? Anybody? That's exactly where I land too. I think that's what the studies point towards. Yeah. Basically, like the world, there is a way for the world to function where you need to be evil in order to succeed. Let me just give you a relatable example. Sometimes, if you want to get an A on a test, you got to cheat in order to do it. Okay, so I don't know what like school is like for you guys, but when I was in school, some things it just seemed totally unattainable unless I cheated, and I did. So I don't know if that's how you feel or if that's relatable to you guys, but like that's just a very like me trying to be real example to you. Okay, I didn't say that. Okay, let me give you some. Yeah. Let me. I don't know. You think about like other things in the world, and this is where like the book that I read, it said like sometimes like the world's agendas or ideologies about like issues, right? They'll push it towards that way. And for Christians, it will be hard to like get ahead or get jobs even if you don't like apply to those things. So basically it's like, hey, if you do not have the evil mindset, if you are not willing to commit evil, then you will not be able to be successful, operate in this world. Yeah, I think that's what it means towards, yeah.
I think this would support your idea that like the beast is like more of a symbol than an actual thing.
Yeah.
Because I think this would be literally just society and it's actually going towards right now.
I think so too. Yeah. Okay, given what we know about numbers and about the unholy trinity, what does 666 even mean? Okay, so you guys.
It says up there 6 is humanity rebellion. So you multiply that by 3, so it's violence times 3.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
There's 3 6s, so it represents like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
So it basically represents like how like God is like all knowing, and He looks at humanity right there, and there's like 3 6s, right? So it's a lot of humanity, a lot of rebellion, so it's a lot of turmoil on earth.
Yeah.
So basically God looking down on earth and like seeing all of this, and he gives everyone a mark.
Yeah, I don't know if that language is like exactly it, but the vibe that you're giving me is it. Where it's like the trinity of 666 is like perfection, ultimate, like evil. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Really, what it comes down to is like if 7 is God, then they fall short of God. Okay, so it's kind of like sin. The picture of sin being falling short of God, not trying to. The unholy Trinity cannot be God. They will never attain perfection like that. So yes, yeah, I think that's what I mean. So hopefully this guy kind of helped you think about what's going on. Real quick, more callbacks. Revelation 14 calls back to more in Revelation, and then Revelation 15 calls back to Exodus. So you have like Exodus callbacks all over the place.